Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now we are going to discuss the topic sentence with one clause. After this discussion, you are expected to be able to do an error analysis to sentences with one clause in which the following structures are used. Number 1, object of preposition. Number 2, appositives. And number 3, participles. Sentences with one clause. Some sentences in English have just one subject and verb, and it is very important for you to find the subject and verb in these sentences. In some sentences, it is easy to find the subject and verb. However, certain structures, such as objects of prepositions, appositives, and participles, can cause confusion in locating the subject and verb, because each of these structures can look like a subject or a verb. An object of the preposition or an appositive can be mistaken for a subject, while a participle can be mistaken for a verb. Therefore, you should be able to do the following in sentences with one subject and verb. Number 1, be sure the sentence has a subject and a verb. Number 2, be careful of objects of prepositions and appositives when you are looking for the subject. And number 3, be careful of present participles and past participles when you are looking for the verb. Now we'll continue to discuss why you need to be careful of objects of prepositions. An object of a preposition is a noun, pronoun, gerund, or noun clause that comes after a preposition such as in, at, of, to, by, behind, on, and so on, to form a prepositional phrase. Now let's see this example. After his exams, Tom will take a trip by boat. This sentence contains two objects of prepositions. Exams is the object of the preposition after, and boat is the object of the preposition by. An object of a preposition can cause confusion in a sentence because it can be mistaken for the subject of a sentence. Now let's see and analyze this one. In this example, you should look first for the subject and the verb. You should notice the verb found and should also notice that there is no subject. Do not think that friend is the subject. Friend is the object of the preposition with, and one noun cannot be both a subject and an object at the same time. Because a subject is needed in this sentence, answer B, he, is the best answer. Answer A, C, and D are not correct because they cannot be subjects. Now let us sum up key information that you should remember about objects of prepositions. A preposition is followed by a noun, pronoun, gerund, or noun clause that is called an object of the preposition. It is not the subject. Now it's time for us to see and analyze some sample sentences. The most common problem you will encounter when analyzing sentences concerning its subject and verb is that either the subject or the verb are missing, or both are missing, or perhaps the sentence has an extra subject or verb. Now let us see the first sentence. In this example, you should notice immediately that there is a verb was, but there is no subject. Answer C is the best answer because it contains the singular subject traffic that agrees with the singular verb was. Answer A, yesterday, and answer B, in the morning, are not subjects, so they are not correct. Although answer D, cars, could be a subject, it is not correct because cars is plural and it does not agree with the singular verb was. Now let us see the second sentence. In this example, you should notice immediately that the sentence has a subject, engineers, and that there is no verb. Because answer B, are needed, is a verb, it is the best answer. Answer A, C, and D are not verbs, so they are not correct. Now let us see the last example. This sentence has a subject, boy, and has part of a verb, going. To be correct, some form of the verb be is needed to make the sentence complete. Answer A and B are incorrect because the sentence already has a subject, boy, and does not need the extra subject, he. Answer C is incorrect because relaxing is an extra verb part that is unnecessary because of going. Answer D is the best answer. Will be together with going is a complete verb. Now we'll conclude this section. A sentence in English must have at least one subject and one verb. In the next section, we'll discuss more in detail the problem of object of preposition, appositive, and participles in a sentence. Now we'll discuss about why you need to be careful of appositive. Appositives can cause confusion in a sentence because an appositive can be mistaken for the subject of a sentence. An appositive is a noun that comes before or after another noun that has the same meaning. Now let us see this sentence. In this example, Sally is the subject of the sentence and the best student in the class can easily be recognized as an appositive phrase because the noun student and because of the commas. The sentence says that Sally and the best student in the class are the same person. Note that if you leave out the appositive phrase, the sentence still makes sense. Sally got an A on the exam. The following example shows how an appositive can be confused with the subject of a sentence. In this example, you should recognize from the commas that George is not the subject of the sentence. George is an appositive. Because this sentence still needs a subject, the best answer is D, my friend. Answer A, B, and C are incorrect because they are not subjects. The next example shows that an appositive does not always come after the subject. An appositive can also come at the beginning of the sentence. In this example, you can tell that Sarah is the subject and Mrs. is the verb because there is no comma separating them. In the space, you should put an appositive for Sarah, and Sarah is an excellent basketball player. So, answer A is the best answer. Answer B and C are not correct because they each contain the verb is, and an appositive does not need a verb. Answer D contains a noun, play, that could possibly be an appositive. But play is not the same as Sarah, so this answer is not correct. The following outlines the key information that you should remember about appositives. An appositive is a noun that comes before or after another noun and is generally set off from the noun with commas. If a word is an appositive, it is not the subject. The following appositive structures are both possible in English. Number 1, Tom, a really good mechanic, is fixing the car. Number 2, a really good mechanic, Tom is fixing the car. Now we'll continue to discuss about why you need to be careful of present participle. The present participle is the ing form of the verb, such as talking, playing, or eating. In a sentence, a present participle can cause confusion because it can be either a part of the verb or an adjective. It is part of the verb when it is preceded by some form of the verb be. Now look at the following sentence. In this sentence, talking is part of the verb because it is accompanied by is. A present participle is an adjective when it is not accompanied by some form of the verb be, just like in the following sentence. In this sentence, talking is an adjective and not part of the verb because it is not accompanied by some form of be. The verb in this sentence is has. The following example shows how a present participle can be confused with the verb in a sentence. In this example, if you look at only the first words of the sentence, it appears that child is the subject and playing is part of the verb. If you think that playing is part of the verb, you might choose answer B, is, or answer D, was, to complete the verb. However, these two answers are incorrect because playing is not part of the verb. You should recognize that playing is a participial adjective rather than a verb because there is another verb in the sentence, is. In this sentence, there is a complete subject, child, and a complete verb, is. So this sentence does not need another subject or verb. The best answer here is A. The following outlines what you should remember about present participles. A present participle is the ing form of the verb. It can be 1. Part of the verb, 2. An adjective. It is part of the verb when it is accompanied by some form of the verb be. It is an adjective when it is not accompanied by some form of be. Number 1. The boy is standing in the corner. Number 2. The boy standing in the corner was naughty. Now let's talk about why you need to be careful of past participle. Past participles can cause confusion in a sentence because a past participle can be either an adjective or a part of a verb. The past participle is the form of the verb that appears with have or be. It often ends in ed, but there are also many irregular past participles in English. Now let us see this pair of sentences. In the first sentence, the past participle purchased is a part of the verb because it is accompanied by has. In the second sentence, the past participle written is part of the verb because it is accompanied by was. A past participle is an adjective when it is not accompanied by some form of be or have, just like in the following sentence. In the first sentence, purchased is an adjective rather than a verb because it is not accompanied by a form of be or have, and there is a verb was later in the sentence. In the second sentence, written is an adjective rather than a verb because it is not accompanied by a form of be or have, and there is a verb appeared later in the sentence. The following example shows how a past participle can be confused with the verb in a sentence. In this example, if you look only at the first few words of the sentence, it appears that packages is the subject and mailed is either a complete verb or a past participle that needs a helping verb. But if you look further in the sentence, you will see that the verb is will arrive. You will then recognize that mailed is a participial adjective and is therefore not part of the verb. Answer A and B are incorrect because mailed is an adjective and does not need a helping verb, such as have or were. Answer C is incorrect because there is no need for the object them. Answer D best completes the sentence. The following outlines what you should remember about past participle. A past participle often ends in ed, but there are also many irregular past participles. For many verbs, including ed verbs, the simple past and the past participle are the same and can be easily confused. The ed form of the verb can be 1. The simple past, 2. The past participle of a verb, or 3. An adjective. Number 1. She painted this picture. Number 2. She has painted this picture. Number 3. The picture painted by Karen is now in a museum.